How do you recruit top talent when you're a startup? I know you've got that on your mind, right? Our guest loves working with early hiring teams, providing clarity on what is needed in a role, and helping founders with their pitch to top talent. Oh, yeah, it's Fab Female Founder Friday on the Startup Life Live Show. Let's glow, everyone. Hello and welcome to the Startup Life Live Show. I'm your host, Ande Lyons, 4 times founder and startup champion to founders around the world. And yeah, after raising 4 businesses of my own, I have a pretty good idea of what you are crawling through every single day. And I am so proud of you for staying focused and doing what you need to do, but especially for carving out time to up your founder game, tuning in today and wherever you can up your founder game. All right. This is a skill set that you're not born with. You don't go to school for. The only way you get to be a seasoned founder is by being in the founder seat and learning and flying by the seat of your pants. Right. So I'm so grateful that you carved out time to tune in and join me for a delicious conversation with another founder. We always learn from these founder conversations. And as you do better, yep, your business will do better. For those of you who are tuning in live, a big yoo-hoo. And then for the replay viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. And my podcast listeners, you're amazing. Thanks for always reaching out and letting me know how you enjoyed the conversation. And for folks, if you are watching via video, please like the video wherever you are because it helps increase the impact and helps me reach more folks. And if you're on YouTube and you haven't done so already, if you could click that subscribe button and notification button, that would be so helpful. And yeah, if you want to go get a deeper dive and get an alert as to who is going to be tuning in and joining me for a delicious conversation, please join the Startup Life Live meetup group. Links are in the show notes. And of course, you can scan that QR code to find out all the details. That's when I share their bio and do a big write-up. It's wonderful. So quick Andy-licious announcements. I always like to remind folks, please hop on to Arlen's Academy. She just added some more new programs and information, everything you need as a founder to succeed. She really puts it out there. Amazing woman. If you're not following her already, you know I promote her book right behind me. It's About Damn Time all the time. But she loves to see and loves to help founders succeed. Another great platform that is amazing at helping founders to create pitches that speak to investors and prepare for their next funding round or accelerator application. It's Scroobius. Hop on over there on Scroobius and use my promo code Ande15 to receive 15% off. I'm telling you, as we would say here in Boston, it's wicked cheap. I mean, inexpensive, of course. It's very affordable. Go check it out. You want to be prepared. And they help you create a video pitch as well, which is so important because we got to be in alignment and resonate with those investors that we want to bring into the fold of our business. And then if you're getting ready to raise a seed round, nobody shares it better than Elizabeth Yen. She's from Hustle Fund. And if you're not following Hustle Fund, oh my gosh, they're a group of founders. I love what they say here. Before we sold out and became VCs, we were founders. So they know what you're going through. And so click the link and go check out her wonderful piece called How to Raise a Seed Round. She's phenomenal at bringing the goods that you need for raising money. So there we go. That's what's happening now. I also want to remind you, founders, please ask for help. Please let people know how they can help you. There's nothing that feels better than being able to help another founder, a fellow founder, or a founder, period. So be sure to ask for help wherever you glow. Reach out here in the show or anywhere. Remember, again, this is the first time you've been out at this. You don't have to have all the answers. And I know there's someone out there who wants to add wind to your sails and open doors for you. Now, here in the Startup Life Live Show, I love it when you amplify your brand, throw in your business name, the URL, the one-liner, bring it up. We'll do a round of applause for you and cheer you on. You never know who could be tuning in and hearing about your company. So I hope you take advantage of that opportunity. All right. So let me introduce you to this wonderful guest that we have on the show today. the one and only seasoned founder, Mandy Edmund, and a seasoned founder with a successful exit too, by the way. Mandy is currently a partner and COO for SwingSearch, a recruiting agency for startups and high growth companies seeking top tier talent. I got to tell you, this group is renowned among venture capitalists, and they confidently refer Mandy and the team at SwingSearch to their portfolio companies to lead end-to-end searches. That's how good they are at finding top talent. Oh gosh, please join me in welcoming the phenomenal Mandy Edmund. Yay, Mandy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy you're here because you've got some great stories to share and with your founder journey and experience. But I want all the parents to know out there, tell folks that not only are you growing a business, you're growing how many children?
I have 3 daughters,
Yeah.
and and I had 2 of them while I was at my company, and my founder has 2 sons as well.
Okay, so folks, women are doing it just fine. Don't let those folks try to stop you in your tracks just because you're birthing babies, right? So, Mandy, tell us, I know you're out there in Oakland, California. Let's spend some time talking about your 10 years as a founder at a prior company called Swing Dev. And I really first want to know what called you to leave employee life behind?
Okay, great. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I was the the Girl Scout that sold extra things instead of cookies to make money. I mean, there wasn't a time in my life where I wasn't hustling and had a side gig. So, I was like one of those people that was a Jill of all trades, had 3 liberal arts degree. There wasn't anything I was going to come out of college and like hit the ground running. And, for the early part of my career, I worked in corporate America and did really, really well. But it wasn't until I was about 24 when I got I realized like being in charge of a company and growing it was the thing for me. But I wasn't as wise when I was 24 to kind of have that go to an exit. But that's when I started working in a fashion startup. So I haven't had a boss since I was 24. But I will say I learned a lot in corporate America about getting things done in big places. And that's a lot of collaboration and getting things to move quickly when they can't move quickly. So there's really a great skill set to learn for any like young founder that is at a large corporation. Just do the best you can and learn those skills. They will help you when you start your own company.
I agree something fierce with that. I remember hearing the story about Square. Square, the website development company, right? He developed that while he was in college. So he had never been an employee. So when he went to go and bring people on board, when it started to take off, he knew nothing. So Mandy's absolutely right, everybody. Getting that experience of what it's like to, systems and procedures. You'll see innovation get shut down often in large corporations because they're heavy on the systems and procedures. But Mandy, I mean, 24, to be, I would say, you probably looked around and said, I could be doing this much better. Maybe, yes?
Yeah, I just always knew I was good at growing things, but it was a failure. Don't get me wrong. Like I had a startup, miserably failed. I had a couple of failed companies. So that is the life of someone that goes the entrepreneurial route. It's not a win every time.
That's right. But you will win yourself, everybody. You never fail when you launch a business. You're going to learn something that you can take anywhere that you go. So then you went on with Swing Dev. Talk a little bit about that because that had a strong tech component to it. Yes?
Yes. Jennifer and I, my business partner at the search company that works for startup recruitment, we did a lot of engineering. She did a lot of engineering early on, and in Silicon Valley, it became very, very hard to hunt for engineers. The same company wanted everyone, and so again, I tend to have a pattern of working with friends and I guess family members. I knew a couple of really awesome seasoned developers that were number 1, 2 in the App Store. And my brother also lived in Poland. And when we got together, we realized that we could create a company that could build some of the best products, Google 10Xers, really like the kinds of engineers that are like experts in 10 languages. And so we launched Swing Development and we started working with the same clients in SwingSearch. We would send them over to Swing Development and we would build their products. And so we were working with, over the years, hundreds of startups building the most difficult tech in product categories that were just now getting created and hadn't been thought through. And as we grew the business to 150 engineers, we became instrumental in Silicon Valley unicorn. And that's what led to a really great decision for us to get acquired by them.
Oh, nice. I love that. Well, let's talk a little bit though about your role in that tech environment with 150 engineers. Now, you early on, you said, yes, I was helped a fashion startup, right?
Yeah.
How did you segue? I mean, what was that like? And your partner, Jennifer Loftus, is that how you say her last name?
Right. That's right. Well, I think the trick to anything is having really good partners that are good at different areas of the business.
Okay.
We had a great product lead, two of the best engineers, a CEO, and Jennifer and myself bringing new business to the company, doing the pitch. So a lot of our job was bringing in the best business, the most attractive business to build. And that was our job. And early on, I will say, towards the end, I wasn't an operator. When that company got to a certain place, a lot of founders have to step down and let the thing run the way it's supposed to run. You sometimes the company outgrows you. And that the company in many ways outgrew me towards the end because I'm not a software developer. So early on, the first 5 years, Jennifer and I were, we didn't get we didn't get any capital. So we built this ourselves from scratch.
Bootstrapped?
We bootstrapped it, yes. So Jennifer and I were sending all of the clients over, making sure the contracts got signed. We were their business development. We were looking at strategy. And then I had the most phenomenal team that never let nothing failed. Like everything was 10 out of 10. And when you have a team that you can rely on quality, that's how you do really well.
Wow. And do you feel that there was a recruitment strategy that you had in bringing that level, that caliber on board? Because again, bootstrap company, got to get the clients in the door, get those contracts signed before you can really pay everybody. How was it that, I mean, your brother, you're going to like, dude, you got to help me out here. But everybody else, you had to talk a good game to get them on board.
So much of a founder's job is creating vision of what it can be. And I think, it was a tough first couple of years. It really was. But when you're recruiting the top devs in Eastern Europe, when they get to see, their dream is to work on the best projects in Silicon Valley. That is a dream of theirs. Okay. And they were so excited to come in and work with Swing Development, to work on unicorn companies that were in the news. They were building back-end infrastructure projects or front-end, apps. It didn't matter. And we also stretched into Fortune 500 as well, doing apps for cars. So there were a couple of big projects that helped keep the team alive while we were bootstrapping it. But it was about our third year that everything was running smoothly. And then we just kept infusing our capital back in for scale. There were times we thought about taking venture. We did consider it, but there is this thing that you lose control of your company sometimes. And all we really ever care, and it's an ethos in my company, is quality, doing the best work you can do.
Yes.
So people want to work for companies that's what they care about. When you get up in the day and the filter is the best companies doing quality work and delivering the best product, that attracts the best talent.
I got to tell you, it really does, because you have set the culture for not minimum. You set it for maximum. You set that bar high, like athletes do. I've got to get up here and, and create the best outcome. And then that just automatically filters out folks who are not into that have something else going on. And they're just like, I just want to do enough. No, that's okay for somewhere else, not with us. And so, and you bootstrap, and I love that because, MailChimp, right? They just sold for $12 billion to Intuit, and they didn't get a dime of venture capital. They grew it like you all did. What was, can you just share like one or two fails that you had from that experience as a founder in there that you went, oh boy, that was a great lesson. Yeah. A growth opportunity, so to speak.
That's a good question. Okay. I will say, you want to be ruthless in prioritization, and you need to scale on what you do the best. And when you take your eye off of what you do the best until you become a brand household name, if you stretch your energies in a direction that isn't, nailing and having impact on your core business strategy, you start to lose track of the prize. And there were times at Swing Dev where we thought, let's do more, let's create an ecosystem, let's get all the developers talking together, and we had like lofty ideas, but we started to see, we're taking our eye off the most important thing, and that is delivering quality. And that really gets back to your company culture. You have to always understand what are the most important things that your company has to deliver on. And when you're outside of that, the answer is no. And sometimes you learn the hard way. And that was one of the key lessons. The second one is you have to make hard decisions. And this is a very important thing when you're growing a company, especially when you will have this imposter syndrome and you don't think you can attract top talent. You might have a fear that if you lose this person, your business might not, succeed. Like there's a lot of fear you have as a founder. And I think you really should let go of people that don't suit you as fast as you can, because it hurts your culture. So we kept people on that were culture killers a little bit too long. And luckily we learned that very early on as a company. So again, ruthless prioritization, and hire fast the best people and fire quickly the ones that don't suit your culture.
Well, I'm going to say, stitch that on especially, and be ruthless in your prioritization. Priorities, know what your critical path items are, folks. That is such good advice. And then how did you get good at the firing fast? Because, if you've never been fired before, I can tell, I'm unemployable, so I've been fired many times. And so it's not fun to be the person getting fired. So if you're in the firing position, you certainly don't want to put someone in that place. What worked for you as far as that mindset to understand that this has to happen and their time is better served somewhere else?
I think it's one of the hardest things that I've ever had to learn as a co-founder or founder of a company. But when you look at it, are they bringing the average of your company down? Is this person or that person not helping us to be a talent magnet for you have to keep your bar high, and that's by hiring high bar people. And if someone's bringing your bar down, you have to get over yourself and like the fear you might have for the business or being too nice, whatever that, you will have those feelings.
Yeah.
You have to actually look outside of your company and look down at your company and do what's best for the company, not your feelings. So that's very hard there's some of you that might be bootstrapping your company and can barely get anyone and pay your employees until you get funding. And some of you might have funding and you have loyalty to someone that doesn't suit your company anymore. You have to you have to look at your culture and make the right decisions for the business.
That's right. And for those of you with parents, you're not going to take your kid to a lousy pediatrician. So sometimes if you put it at that level of priority, like, look, you're a great person and you're talented, but you are not a fit for us, move them along. And the hire slow and fire fast is, I know you founders have heard that motto before, but do some role playing with someone, okay, with a mentor, just so you have that skill set, and do some research on how that's done, because sometimes we can be bamboozled as founders, right? We can think, oh, this person's great, and we have our own little mythology about them based on their background, right, Mandy? And then all of a sudden they get on board and it's like, ooh, no. Now what do I do? I was wrong.
And you will run into this. I mean, I work with, hundreds and hundreds of founders that, they come from being a staff level engineer or a product manager, and now they're a co-founder of a Silicon Valley backed startup. And you will make hiring mistakes, and they're embarrassing sometimes. And you're scared to go to your VC and let them know that your first go-to-market hire didn't work out. But every month, 2 months, that person stays on, that isn't a fit and isn't delivering impact, you're that much further from raising your next round.
Absolutely. And it's going to just suck the spit out of you as well.
Yeah, you're focusing on your product. You're focusing on managing a person that isn't right.
That's right. Hey, Richard O, great to see you. And yes, be a talent magnet. That's another hashtag stitch that on a pillow moment for sure. It's a mindset too, along with really understanding the vision and being able to convey that. I love that. And I just quick hello to you, Ruth. You're amazing. I always love seeing you. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Kenya. So now you have built the company and the opportunity to exit happens. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Oh, it was a roller coaster. I talked to a lot of founders that have gone through this, and it's like I'll use a family tree. You have blood that stitches you together, like the blood of your company. And when you're getting acquired, there are some of you that will not go on to the next company, and some of you that will go on to the company. And so what you care about starts to divide. So it was a really, really challenging time to go through it, because there were just different there were just different groups of people that wanted different things. But I think in the end, like, because there were the 5 of us and we started this company, we worked hard for 10 years. We were able to have that respect for each other and mutual understanding of what everyone needed. And, there's give and take. So it was exhilarating. It was hard, but mostly I had this feeling of like almost like remorse, because I was no longer going to be working with 3 people that I loved so much for so long, and had a company that tied us together. And so it's a lot of emotions that go through.
It's bittersweet, right?
Bittersweet, yeah. And tensions, if you're in this situation, tensions will be high. Yeah. Like, you have lawyers, you have their lawyers, you have valuations, you have so much going on, and you have to work as a team still, even when sometimes you don't feel like it. And those are the lessons that I learned. And at the end, I still see them all. I am so happy for them. And I look back and I could just, pinch myself that we were able to do this.
I know. So as you transitioned out, I don't know if you had any kind of contract that had you staying on for a period of time, or was it a clean break?
Oh, clean break.
Okay, great.
Most times when you have an acquisition, any non-engineering or product tech leads don't go on with the company.
Great. So that's a see you buy moment. So did you say, okay, so I'm going to go hang out on the beach or hang out with my kids, or what happened next?
We all went to dinner, but we had work to do. We still have our other company. So, it was ever onward, but I was proud, and I really was. I was really proud that we did it. 2 female founders started the company, and, I was proud being a female founder that bootstrapped it. And Jennifer and I look at each other sometimes, and we're like, we did that.
I know. It's so, look at them, everybody, sitting in this wonderful photo. For those of you who are watching the video, these 2 women together built a business, had an exit, still have a SwingSearch together today. They're both partners in this business, which we're going to go dive deep into now. But that's lovely. And what do you think it is about you and Jennifer that helps you to work so well together?
Well, I'd like to give the biggest shout out to Jennifer. I mean, she had a brand for almost 5 years that she built before I joined her, and she took a risk on swing development with her connections. We had SwingSearch, so she's a risk taker. Like, she's, of all the entrepreneurs, I think Jennifer is the biggest one. I don't think she's had a boss. I don't even know if Jennifer's ever had a boss, honestly. She is the boss. So, but yeah, like, she took a chance on me, honestly. If I'm looking deep inside myself, I didn't have any tech experience. I'd run a fashion company, blogs, retail, I'd done all these things that were the core skill set that I brought to my company, but I had to, learn like the rest of them. So I think when we got together, like, Jennifer can see talent. She saw, this person has the goods to grow this company. And Jen had just had her last baby. He was 3 years old, and she was ready to scale the business. It's actually a funny story. I met her, I had this, I'm authentic. I had a horrible thing that happened to me, like, where it left me unable to have children. So I was in kind of very dark.
I'm so sorry.
And no, it's okay. It's like a beautiful thing. I got my
Yeah.
twins via surrogate out of it. But I was in a very dark place and I was looking for something that I could build my strength back up. And I decided to, when you're down and out, you got to put like measurement and something in your life that you can measure. And so I decided to get my black belt and start from scratch to build my strength up. And that's where I met Jennifer. And I don't know, I just knew within I knew within like 10 minutes that she was going to be my best friend. Like I remember we met each other and we were talking and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so great. And that was it. And that was like 11 years ago. And her company had a great brand. It was her and a couple other people. And she saw my skill set. And then we just started to build. And she took a big, when you talk, there's two ways to hire. You can hire someone that's done it before, that has seen skill in what you're doing as a founder, or you can look at transferable skills and energy and passion and like loyalty and the eye on quality. You have to kind of look for both when you're thinking about your co-founder or who the early stage hires are going to be.
And I think Jennifer just had a sense, given her background to that date, her lived experience, she knew that you were going to not just bring complementary skills that she needed, but that you had the same level of high caliber output and input that she did, because you don't want to be skewed that way with a co-founder. And because you need to be on the same page and be having that same high level of achievement and desire to accomplish that. So that's such a beautiful story.
Jen and I had anything in common that I could pick out right away is that brand and quality and ownership was the most important thing, not making a ton of money. Like we knew if we had the best VC referring the best startup and we did the best work and we just focused on that like blinders, then we would never spend a dime on outside sales. And that was what we did.
Wow. And you were more focused on having the top tier engineers who are going to deliver what you were doing in your own business development and your own marketing. I love that. And so with SwingSearch, tell us a little bit about it and how it works, because, here this show gets listened to from around the world. Founders are always seeking, and, the investors that we have on the show, they are always about making sure that their founders get good talent when the time is right. So talk a little bit about SwingSearch and how it works.
Sure. So SwingSearch is an early stage executive recruitment agency. And where we sit in the market is, and we work with VCs, and when they fund a company, Series A, B, they refer Swing to help build their early stage hiring. Sometimes they'll ask us for a CMO, a VP of marketing, a product marketer. It runs all of the leveling, because for different functions, you need different things. You need a C-level for one, you need an IC for another. And so what our firm is really good about is we can talk to first-time founders, seasoned founders, and we can help them figure out who do you need to hire, what level, when, and we can handle most of their early stage hiring all the way through pre-IPO.
Wow. And so what's the criteria for you to work with someone? So ABC startup says, oh my gosh, like we are ready. We're poised. I know exactly who I need, I think. How do they go to work with you?
I want to share for first-time founders, like they don't know. And
you don't know what you don't know too.
Some of them do. But when you have a good product idea, and then now you need to hire your first salesperson, your first marketer, your first customer success, and you've never hired for those positions before, we work with those founders and leverage all the stuff we've stolen from all the other founders and how to get this done right. So it's like borrowed tribal knowledge, and they don't know. And a lot of times we're like, this is what demand generation is. This is what the core competencies of a marketing person would be at your stage. This is what the 18-month candidate looks like. Don't try for the 3-year. So it's a lot of consulting, because no matter what, you only really win, not when they make a placement, you win when they make the right placement and that person is at the right level. And so that's when you win. And that's something we're very good about. That's what we focus on.
Well, and I love and I love the 15 years here. I mean, see, just what Mandy was saying, everybody, this is, they've seen it. They've had to place. They've seen what works, what doesn't, at all the different stages and all the different types of industries. So who pays for your recruitment?
Sure. So when a company gets funding, they're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, now I have to hire. So most of the companies we work with, they'll get a, 5 to 20 million Series
Mm-hmm.
A.
Yeah.
Or they might be at Series B or Series C,
Mm-hmm.
Series C, but they have to hire. So they're actually paying us out of their funding or profits that they're making. So that's how we get paid. The question I could answer that I think is important is, it's really expensive to use recruiting agencies if you are a seed company and you don't have product market fit or go to market fit yet. And I think a lot of you might be in that place. You don't have your Series A yet. And so I could spend time with you today if there's people in the crowd that's where you're at, because it's very, very hard to pay any recruitment fees when you don't have a lot of cash in the bank.
That's right. And this is important, founders. You can't be just always living in the moment. All right. You have to be planning. And if scaling is really important to you, you're going to have to plan for that. Okay, we're going to go raise this 10 to $20 million. And rather than being deer stuck in the headlight after you get the closing and the funds come in, and what do? You will have Mandy and the SwingSearch team ready to help you grow, because if you've got VC money, your runway just got real short, and you're going to need that team to hit the ground running, and you want to get the best people. You do not have time to waste on, I think you'll be a good fit. I think our, HR person can manage this. No. You need people who have that seasoned, lived experience, that made the mistakes, seen other founders make the mistakes, so that they can go, I know exactly who you need. Here we go. Because you're going to have so much. And Mandy, I see it all the time. Founders, they make that big raise and everybody's cheering. Oh my gosh, amazing. But the founder's going.
Yeah. If I could share anything, they're just as nervous then as they were. They're nervous. They have to raise their Series B, and you might be in one of two places. Like, I can try to fill this on my own, or I have a couple candidates. I really think in the next 8 to 10 weeks, is my pipeline and network going to produce the result I'm looking? And if you don't have the time to focus as the chief recruiter officer at your company, you need to pick 1 to 2 roles that are going to get you to your Series B and get those numbers up. And you just got to bite the bullet and have a recruiting agency take that off your plate.
Exactly. And folks, remember when we had Billy Price on the show? He was the one with the Billy footwear, and he talked about how his first delivery of like 4,000 pairs of sneakers, 85% of them were unusable. It's the same thing, and what that lesson taught him was to go with the best manufacturing. What was he doing fooling around with this other place? The same thing with the talent in your business. You just, you have got a great company. You've proven your product market fit. You're at this wonderful, enviable place, which is now you've made it through this part of the curve, and now you're going into early stage. And that's a very important scaling point. Do it with people who are going to help you succeed, not fail. And don't think that you can figure this out on your own. Okay. So I just love all of that advice. What's another big mistake that you see founders make when doing talent acquisition without a seasoned group like yours to help them?
I think they just underestimate how much work it is. Like
For
it
sure.
really is. It's a lot of work to build a pipeline of 5 to 7 A+ people that can do this job and hit the ground running. And I think they get a little overly confident that their network will produce the result, and then they're 3 months behind. And I think with a lot of founders, there's this gut feeling. They'll go against their gut on hires. I could talk about at the end, right?
Yeah.
It's really important to build your culture and to be very clear. When you're not clear, being clear is the most important thing. You need to be very clear on what success looks like in 18 months. What will they need to achieve in 18 months? I stole this. It's called Missions and Outcomes. I stole it from Andreessen Horowitz. It's nothing original here.
Right.
But I give it to everyone now. I'm like, fill this out. But it's really like, like what are the qualities of this person? What will make them successful in 18 months? What will they have needed to do in their career to show that they could do this job in the next 18 months? You want to be laser focused on who can get you to where you need to be in 18 months, not the 3-year person. So if you can get clear on what your go-to-market and what you need on your business, and you can get clear on the leveling and what this person needs to execute on, you marry those two together and you stick to that. And you might go up, down a little bit in level, but you need to stick to the core of what this person needs to do in 18 months.
That's brilliant. That's like strategy. Mwah. Love it, 100%. And in your bio, I love the comment that you make about how you help the founders pitch to those top talent, because we know searching for, okay, we figured out what they need to do, but how do we get them to come on board? What does it mean when you say that you prepare founders to pitch to top talent?
It is so important. I think the most important thing, one of the top skills my employees have at SwingSearch is they are great at pitching companies. They're great at simplifying. They're great at being clear, and they are wonderful storytellers that capture the attention and the listening of the candidates of what's important to them. So we really, when we're working with founders and we ask to hear their pitch on the first call, we say, tell us your pitch. What's your elevator pitch? And if we're confused, oh no, like every candidate that comes into the fold is going to be confused. So we really work with them on the pitch, how they're closing candidates, how are they pitching the strategy, how are they pitching the future of their company? Here's where we're at today. This is the milestones we need to hit to be in the next 18 months. This is why your role is important. This is why we got funded here. These are the products that are successful. We're going to stay laser focused. They're selling themselves, the vision of the company, their backers, their culture, and they're saying, you're awesome. Come join us. You got to touch those 5 things before you start assessing candidates. Like, you got to want them to want you so you can figure out if you want them. Don't have it be the other way.
Oh, see, and I would have thought it'd be the other way. Okay. No, you want them banging down your door, and then okay.
You want them to want you, so that then you can, you're creating, if they think your company has it, like great funding, a great product market fit, you're in a category, whatever those things might be, like you got what they want. You want them to be like, this is for me. Then you can start looking for how they fit into your culture and their skill sets, because they're interested.
That is brilliant advice. Oh my gosh. And again, founders, this SwingSearch will help you too make sure that you feel worthy of these hires as well. Because there's sometimes you can be sitting there going, well, I'd like them to come on, but they look very happy where they are. I don't want to pull them out. No. You've got to get so deeply convinced. Deeply understanding that you are the best place for them and that they are going to soar. Talk a little bit about how you built these relationships with the VCs. I find this also very fascinating, so that they're very confident coming to you and saying, hey, help this company out, because this company has a chance for us to get our 10 times plus back. How have you built that over the years?
Quality.
It's
quality. It doesn't matter what you say or what you do if you don't have a quality product, and your product is your services, or if you don't have a quality product, that's all that matters. So the first lens is always quality. I swear, I say the word quality like 1,000 times a week at my company. It's the only thing that keeps me up at night. Nothing else keeps me up at night unless our brand has the best quality. If I see a search that's slipping, or someone that's hurting our brand from a quality lens, that's where you start to see me acting a little nuts. So it really is quality. And also, I think you have to pick your own cultural values, but at Swing, who we are is very authentic and real. Like, we are real and authentic, and that allows people that work with us to be real and authentic about what they don't know. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room ever. You just have to be authentic about what you know, what you don't know. And then we figure out what you don't know together.
Right.
So authenticity, quality, brand, that is what catapulted us, I believe. And then, it took a while. I mean, we had 2 VCs, then 10, then 20, then now it's like, I don't know, hundreds. I can't keep track anymore, but they don't hear anything bad about us on the market.
And for anybody Yeah, and anybody into branding, like look at this piece of marketing collateral. The picture of Jennifer and Mandy, clearly authentic, down to earth, transparent, they're there. And yet the whole brand and feel is quality. So, quality isn't just you're delivering these great quality services, it's also how you put your image out and your brand promise out. And this is where you've nailed it so beautifully, Brandy. Mandy,
Well,
you
no, I
and
like
Jennifer.
Brandon. That's a good one. You should call me Brandy. Call me Brandy. Brandy cares about quality.
Oh, but Mandy, seriously, this is where you've nailed it, you and Jennifer, because all of that brand promise is coming through every day. So what happens if you have a client and all of a sudden they are just too difficult to work with and they're not going to meet your quality expectations? How do you fire the client?
You're going to go through this. It's a hard one always, but communication is key.
Yeah.
I think whenever you are what I believe is be very, very clear. Repeat back what you hear. Talk about the data that's coming, how'd you get to this decision. Don't spring things on people like 3 months later. It's like with anything, it's like an employee review. If you're not doing a good job, it shouldn't be during your review that you find out. You should
That's
know
right.
1 month in, 2 months in. So we're very good about working with founders on what's not working, where we're at in the process, the things we need to change. So it's never really a surprise if things don't work out in the end. But you have to be clear, you have to communicate, you have to use data, and you have to have empathy. I say a lot at my company, there's the law of a contract, but there's the spirit of the law. Like it's not, no one wins when someone else is right. Like
Right.
that, you don't win. If I'm right, the client's wrong. If the client's right, I'm wrong. Like you want to get to a place of mutual understanding and listening and always look at the spirit of the law.
Right. Oh my gosh. I love that, something fierce. I could tell you folks, I don't know who wouldn't want to hire SwingSearch to help them once they get the money in. I mean, make the journey easier for yourself. It's the best investment. You'll get the best return on investment for your business. And I'm just saying this as an observer, okay? Yeah, I know from having to onboard up to 100 and then onboard with my .com, how important it is that you manage the process right and you get the right people into the right slots for you to have success. It can't just be luck. It has to be thoughtful strategies going into place. I can see why you are a phenomenal Techstars mentor. When did you start mentoring for them, and why do you like that role as a mentor?
I love one of my favorite calls are most of the time clients I can't work with. So if you have like $1 million seed or 500 and you're trying to figure out product market, you're trying to figure out if you have anything. I love working with startup founders in that capacity. So much of what I enjoy doing with them is like my expertise. I have really strong business acumen across everything just because of my job. Like I can look at a security company that's bottoms up. I can look at a consumer company that, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I've seen everything under the sun. And so I have and that's just years on earth doing the job. Like that wasn't me 10 years ago. That's me now. I can sit in my seat and be like, yes, I understand that. I can help you.
After you've looked at so many companies and talked to so many founders.
Exactly. Like thousands. Yeah. Like I hear their pitch. I have to understand their product, who would be right. So I in particular have that skill set of like in 30 seconds, I can figure out how you would pitch this, what you need to do. So when I am a mentor in any capacity, I'm like really helping them to understand how they pitch their product, who would be the first hire they should make, and what's unclear to me when they pitch. That's where I spend all the time, because if you can't do that, I can't move to the next phase of how do you close A-player candidates from putting them in the top of the funnel to giving them an offer and onboarding them. You don't get to that if you don't have the first thing.
I understood completely. I've been mentoring a company out of Italy, out of Milan, called Aligo, and they're in the fashion space with a personal concierge to help folks make their e-commerce decisions. It's really good, but boy, it has taken 12 weeks of constant reiteration because, of course, in Italy, the more words you use, the better. So to get ready to scale them, Yes, right. And so to scale in the US is a whole different story. But you know what? They've got it down and it looks great, everyone. So when you have a great mentor like Mandy on your team to help you, we keep reiterating, get it down finer, finer, finer. Yes, it makes your job so much easier on every level, from getting funded to getting top talent on board. So I love this conversation, Mandy. You have added so much value. Tell us, when you, over the last 15 years, have felt your mindset just tank due to personal reasons or how the business is going, et cetera, what has helped you shift out? What have you seen that's worked to help you go, look, it's a blip in time. We got to get out of this. What has helped you return to a strong founder mindset?
There's a number of things, but I'll start with my business partner. Like, it would be, if I was a single founder doing it alone, I believe it would be very lonely at the top. I've worked with a lot of founders that it's just one founder and not a co-founder environment. And I see what they're talking about when it's lonely at the top. So I feel very lucky that, like, the times when I was weak, she was strong, and vice versa. So we always had each other to, help the other one through a hard time, I guess. And, I think that's with any relationship. What it doesn't work is when both of you are weak. And I've been very lucky to have one of us be strong at all times when times were tough. You're going to go through phases in a company. Like, we had one phase where, like, a lot of people quit at the same time that were friends. And that was really, really hard for us because we were so small. And, how do you keep delivering on quality if you have less people? But it was an opportunity because our brand had grown to hire new people with better skill sets. So when you have something that sets you back, Jen and I, like, it was the luckiest time for us because it allowed us to do the next level of our business and hire the best people. And then when COVID hit, that was another time that was pretty challenging with our business. I think Jen and I, and you'll have
does she live nearby? Are you able to see her physically?
Our kids are best friends. Like, we live like 5 minutes away. Like, it's funny. We're best friends. So and business partners. And a lot of people maybe they don't found a company with their best friend, but it's their very close colleague. You have to get along in the beginning and like each other. You get to like 100 to 200 employees, and then you're like, oh, maybe I wouldn't go out to dinner with that person, but they sure are good at finance.
Yeah, what you're saying too, though, is that the beauty of having a co-founder, folks, is that you're not siloed, because you have to. Yes, because you have to present a strong front to your investors, to your customers, to your employees, to the vendors. And then, it's good to look at each other and go, oh my God, what a day. How did we get, it was a disaster. But you're not going to be able to do that to certain folks that you're working with, both on the funding and in the implementation. So
no one's going to tell you did a good job ever if you're a founder.
Right.
Like, you're telling everyone else they did a good job. So every once in a while I'll be like, Jen, that was great. It's like, oh, okay, I am doing good. So
that is an important thing that you just said there, Mandy. No one's going to tell you did a good job. It's like parenting. The kid's not going to go, good job, Mom. I thought that technique.
No one cares. Like, we joke sometimes that sometimes our, like, tax person will say we did great, and we'll both be like, okay, great, high five. So I think there is a beauty in the COO or a co-founder because it gets lonely at the top. But also, we've had two really interesting things happen in the market. We've had COVID, and then we've had, like, an economic downturn. I know we're all still kind of trying to figure that out. A lot of founders have never weathered any storm.
Right.
So it is very, very tough. And, you don't want to, like, live your life preparing for doomsday. But I think as a founder, you have to really run a business. Like, you may have a ton of money coming from wherever, but you still have to run your business like a business, not like money grows on trees, because it may stop when you don't realize. Like, right now, it's very challenging to raise. During COVID, everyone had to lay off their entire companies, like, down to only engineering.
Absolutely. And I think, and I saw this during the .com days, and I saw it was starting to repeat itself again before COVID hit, going, wow, did anybody not learn anything from that?
And it's true. And I think if you're a founder right now, you need to present and show where you have the leadership skills to move through challenging times, because you're steering the ship of your business. And are you the right captain? And you may not have had this experience. So if you don't, you need to get people that can help you to make decisions on your finances. What do you need to do to keep your burn rate for 18 more months?
Right.
Don't get shy and embarrassed at that point.
Right. And listeners, you know how I feel about that dream team. Best attorney, best accountant, best insurance broker. Those are the people who protect you from the things that can happen that are litigious as well. So it's just very, very important that you have those folks on board. So what does success look like for SwingSearch and for you going forward? Like you said, in 18 months or 24 months, this is how we're measuring success. Are you going to keep it at a plateau? Do you want to grow? What does that look like for SwingSearch?
There's like stages of success, right? And there's like having an idea and not telling anyone, something failing, like you made it, and then you're doing so well, you have too much business and you fail. Like there's all these stages of like that we've gone through so far. So I think the iteration where we're at now is, we're at a great place where we're hiring people that are better at our jobs than Jen and I are. So, and it takes a long time to get there because you're so want quality and brand and you want to make sure everything's perfect. But I look at the partners and associate partners at my company and I'm like, I can't even imagine I got them. They're like little Mandy and Jen a long time ago. Like, look who we have. Like, they're phenomenal. And we care about our company. Like, and we have a lot of breadwinner. We're a female found company.
Yes.
And most of the people that work at my company are breadwinners, and they are mostly moms and breadwinners. So I'm really proud of that. Jen always jokes that when we see a little kid eat a blueberry, we're like, oh, that's a little swing blueberry. So,
no, that's wonderful. Seriously. Oh, I would be I'm proud of you for that as well.
Thank you. I stole that one from Jen, but I'll have to give her credit about the swing blueberry. But to answer your question, I feel like I have the team that can start executing on what they're going to create their own businesses at Swing and grow their own teams and their own revenue and their own pods. And that's how we'll keep quality high. And Jen and I always say, we'll shut it down if quality dips below a certain, we mean it. We won't hire another person if we're not the best.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
I'll scale as long as we're the best. And if we start not being the best, we won't hire anymore and we'll get back to being the best.
There we go. And that is clarity. Okay. And as Mandy said earlier, be ruthless in prioritization. And that is what you just said, Mandy, in that if it's not quality, we will shut this ship down.
Bye-bye. I mean, we won't hire anymore. We'll go back to basics. And we've had to do that a couple of times if we've hired too many people at that. You're going to run into this. Like, you have a lot of new people and they're not trained and you have all this business and it feels like you're in the Great Gatsby throwing all the shirts around, but you're not focused on quality. If you lose your focus, we stop and we'll say, no more new business, no more revenue until these people are trained and comfortable. And then we can go back to business as usual. You only are as good as your product and your people.
Well, and I feel confident, so much confidence from what you just said, Mandy. So for your team members, the talent that you're acquiring for SwingSearch, they have to feel confident because you are very clear. It's like parents, when you have a really good structure in your home for the kids so they know what they can play within that safely. Yeah. It's the same thing for your talent that you're onboarding. When they see that you're so confident about what is being expected and what you're trying to create and that person's role in creating that, it feels like they can reach the stars working with you.
The people at my firm can. They're awesome. I mean, the leaders in my company are so good. You can't scale your business without the best people. Like, it doesn't matter how good of a founder you are, just your people are what matters and your product.
Absolutely. So those of you that went to Harvard Business School, hear that clearly. It's not stakeholders. Okay. It's not shareholders. It is your people first, always. I have to throw that out, Mandy. Harvard's in my backyard. I know what the business school tends to talk about, shareholder value. And we want to know, everybody, that it's your talent that makes a company.
It is true. And it is your company. Even if you have a VC that gave you money, it's your company. Now, you need to make sure you get another round of funding. That's what the VCs will care about, but it is your company.
Excellent. Any last thoughts before I pop into the green room? You have been just a wealth of information. This is going to be one of the best evergreen episodes. Folks are going to be hearing this many times. I can just tell. Any last words before I pop you in?
Be authentic, be driven. If you don't know something, find someone that knows it. All of these founders don't know the first thing about half the thing they're hiring on. You get a mentor, get a committed listener. Don't be scared that you don't know something. The best people are ruthless about finding out. They're curious. I don't know about this. Who do I know? Who could help me? You have to be that person always, because you are responsible for your company and getting them. You're responsible for your employees' lives, like their well-being, the money they're making. Like, you can't have an ego that doesn't allow you to ask questions and figure it out.
I'm telling you, it's the most common. And founders, this is the one thread that holds so many founders together, Mandy: problem solving. Solve that problem, ask for help. Don't think you have to do it, but use that peer support. Mandy's absolutely right about that. Talking it out, you will find the answer.
If you don't know something, I don't know this, I don't know this, someone help me know this. Like, find a person that, like, people, they can see authenticity and someone that's eager to learn. Make a request, be like, I would love, write an email to someone that's done this before. If it's another founder, or it doesn't matter, say, I would love your advice on this particular thing. I don't know how to do it, and I would love to know how you do it. Keep it short and succinct and get mentors that can help you.
Okay, solid gold. I'm going to have to just stop for a quick second, because that right. Ande delicious moment. Mandy, thank you so much. I'm so happy and so grateful. I'm going to pop you into the green room. Oh my gosh, everyone, did we learn a ton today? Yes, you can do this. You've got this. Oh my gosh. So I want to just quickly share before I log off here who's going to be joining us on next Tuesday. That's right, Tuesday, August 9th. At 12 p.m. EST in the Startup Life Live Show. We are talking to the small business superhero, Kedma O. And she's joining us to talk about targeted funding. She's a nationally recognized business dev and business funding expert, and she loves breaking down the barriers to big capital for small businesses. And she's so respected. As a respected authority, she has advised more than 10,000 businesses leveraging $100 million in funding access. Oh my gosh. We're going to learn a lot from her. And how do you know whenever I have a new guest on the show and learn all the wonderful details about them? You join the Startup Life Live meetup group. Scan that QR code or click the link in the show notes. Come on over so that you can get some great learning like we did today from Mandy. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Until next time, keep solving those problems. Keep reaching out for help. And remember, you've got this. Blowing you kisses from Boston. Mwah! Cheers.